everybody. My name is Lashawna Owens, and today I will be discussing the story of Osiris and Iris and Gilgamesh. I first like to start off by talking about the similarities between the two. They had three main similarities, in my opinion, which were spirituality because of the gods and how both stories did go in depth about the gods and how in Osiris and Iris, she was a goddess, he was a god, and he came back and he impregnated her, and it was just, they conceived a child, but he was dead. So it was very spiritual because of the way that a lot of the things in the story went about. Then the discussion of mankind, which was the broadest to me of the similarities, simply because both stories basically were a guide and eye-opening to how mankind could have come about. They were two different ways, though, but I feel like that's like such a deeper subject. But they were very similar in that aspect, in my opinion, because they are discussion how mankind came about. We can try to say that we know, but we don't really know, and it's brought about in two different ways. So I thought that was very interesting, actually. And also that both stories had a protagonist and an antagonist, which is typical in most stories, but as far as in Osiris and Iris, he was killed, so of course he was the protagonist, but he came back, like I said, and conceived a baby with his wife. And in the other story, you had the man who was killed, and he was obviously the protagonist, but his brother was jealous, so of course we see how that goes. Jealousy gets some of us not in a good spot, and it didn't get him anywhere. So that's how I felt they were both the same. But in another aspect, I feel like both stories went on to produce similarities with other stories. So although they were similar, they were different in the fact that they brought about the idea of mankind's spirituality in different ways. The only main central similarity they had was spirituality, and the protagonist and antagonist, like I said, they brought about the discussion of mankind in a different way, as well as spirituality in a different way, but they were somewhat, similar, like I was saying. So what I feel like one story relates to in the Bible is Noah's Ark. Of course, I would have to say that Gilgamesh relates to Noah's Ark the most, because basically you have a flood. Somebody's jealous, so he floods the place trying to kill him. Only thing was the 40 days and 40 nights, as opposed to the 7 days that he had. And although there were many differences between the story, it was the same concept. They were still overcoming the flood, and they did get through it, and yet they got immortality, which was their key and their obstacle that they were trying to overcome it. The goal was immortality, and they got it. I would have to compare Osiris and Iris to Adam and Eve. Yes, of course, because both of them, this is how we came together and have life. You have Adam and Eve who ate the forbidden fruit, and then you have Osiris and Iris who conceived a baby in the spiritual matter. So I definitely found very, 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 very much similarities between those two, and I feel like that in conclusion, I am in great belief that this is where the origins of the Bible originated. I mean, the Bible is just a newer version, an updated version of these stories, and I am in deep belief that that is so true. So that's my opinion about the stories. I really enjoyed them. I have to say I enjoyed Osiris and Iris more because it was just more interesting and had a lot more detail, in my opinion. And I hope you all enjoyed. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.